We made a $25,000 tax mistake, and I'm not just saying that for a catchy headline, I'm holding the receipts. If you look at this notice on the top left here from the North Carolina Department of Revenue, that is a bill for $1,229.78. That's a tax bill for back corporate taxes due that I now know I did not need to pay. This is what happens when you want to be a serious business owner, but you're working with the wrong professionals. So at FBA Plus Academy, we take the business side of Amazon seriously. Everyone wants to teach you how to find a product and click order on a retail website, but there are very few people who want to teach you how to actually run the business. We personally lost thousands of dollars because of what I'm about to show you. My goal today is to make sure you never have to pay this ignorance tax like we did. This isn't a hobby, it's a business, and if you don't treat it like one, the IRS in your state will do it for you. So let's go back to the beginning. In 2023, we did what we thought was the right thing. We were starting to see real success on Amazon, and I didn't want to trust the future of our business to TurboTax. I consider myself a detailed, organized person. I was tracking every single inventory purchase and business expense in meticulous spreadsheets. I was even paying for software like Inventory Lab to track my cost of goods sold. So we hired a reputable CPA firm. They had great reviews, nice people, seemed professional, but here was the first red flag. When I asked my first mentor about taxes, the response was, I don't know, I'm not an accountant, you should probably hire a CPA. And so that's what we did. You know, there was a fair answer. I know he didn't want to misinform us, and I respect that. But it still left us in a little bit of a vacuum. Because we had no direct guidance and didn't know what kind of CPAs to look for, we hired the first ones we came across. We handed our spreadsheets over to this CPA firm. I gave them our year-end inventory valuation from Inventory Lab. I thought I was being a gold star client. What I didn't realize, and what the CPAs didn't tell me, was that I was not accounting for my inventory assets as a whole. I still had thousands of dollars in Q4 inventory that was on its way to prep centers or sitting at a prep center already or at my house that had not been reported into Inventory Lab yet or counted as an inventory asset. Dedicated Amazon e-commerce CPA would have asked me, hey Seth, is this all of your inventory? Where's the rest of your inventory? Mine didn't. They just took my numbers that I provided them and filed. We paid $2,250 for those 2023 filings, thinking we were set up for success. We were actually just building a house on a foundation of sand. Moving into 2024, our CPAs encouraged us to transition from Google Sheets to QuickBooks Online. They said it would make everyone's life easier. In reality, it made my life a living hell for dozens of hours a month. I had to manually create a chart of accounts. I had to learn how to enter debits and credits from Seller Central month-end journal summaries. Then we started selling in Amazon Canada and Mexico. And if you've done this, you know that Amazon reports those sales in Canadian dollars and Mexican pesos. They don't convert them to US dollars for you in their summaries, and currency rates change daily. I spent dozens of hours calculating US dollar conversions down to the 5th and 6th decimal point every month. And here's the kicker. Look at this invoice on the right side of the screen. You see these charges for telephone calls? $285 here, $95 there. I wasn't calling them for advice. I was the one teaching the CPAs. I was sending them hour-long YouTube videos explaining how to reconcile Amazon settlements after they were giving me questions about not understanding what I was doing. So I was effectively explaining to them how to read the Amazon month-end journal reports. I was paying them a premium for the privilege of being their unpaid intern. If you find yourself teaching your professional how to do their job, you don't have a CPA, you have an expensive pen pal. So this leads to the biggest disaster. During 2024, we switched our tax interview status in Seller Central from an SSN to an EIN under our LLC when we had transitioned to an S corporation. This is a move that a lot of sellers might make as they grow, or if they did not set up their business foundations correctly first before starting to sell. Again, I had no guidance on this when we first started, and so we teach our members how to do things a little bit differently to make sure they don't run into these mistakes. But Amazon is a machine, they won't backdate any of these changes. As a result, we received two 1099s for the 2024 tax year, one to me and one to the business. A dedicated e-commerce CPA sees that and knows exactly how to reconcile that overlap. My then CPAs did not. Instead, they saw a $25,000 discrepancy between the 1099s and the books, and they reported it in QuickBooks Online as an owner's distribution. They essentially told the IRS Seth took an extra $25,000 out of the business and put it in his pocket. But in reality, I never touched that money. It didn't exist. It was a phantom distribution. This mistake didn't just screw up my 2024 taxes, it threw off my entire 2025 balance sheet. It made it look like I was draining the business of cash that I never actually had. As a result, we owed thousands in extra taxes. We were paying taxes on money we never earned. That's when I knew I had to get out. I started interviewing real e-commerce CPA firms. I showed them my books, and their response was immediate that this was all being done wrong. So look at these notes that they sent me on the left middle here. They said they would have to redo all of my Amazon cost of goods sold on an accrual basis. They had to remove an Amazon holding account from my balance sheet. They had to remove some negative accounts payables that shouldn't exist. Then I got a quote to fix it, $2,995 just to clean up the first 9 months of 2025. That didn't even include the 2024 mess yet. On top of that, I was quoted $500 a month for bookkeeping and another starting price of $2,400 for tax filings. I was looking at a $10,000 to $12,000 tax bill just to correct, reconcile, and file 2025, and a potentially $16,000 tax bill if I wanted to fix the mistakes of the people I had just paid $4,000 to file my 2024 return. So eventually, we found another team that actually really understood this platform. They sat on a call with me for 90 minutes, and they answered 89 specific questions that I asked them. That's how many questions the AI meeting notes recap summary said that I asked. They knew about pending disbursements. They knew how Amazon reports income versus what actually hits your bank. They knew how to speak to your business's nexus in other states. They were the first people who really spoke Amazon fluently, and I was just really blown away with how much time they took with me to answer every single question that I had. So where are we now? My new CPAs just filed our 2025 return, and they sent me this text that you see on the bottom left. They fixed the owner's distribution. They reduced our 2024 net profit by that $25,000. So if you read this, we were able to correct your owner's distribution account on your 2024 books. We also found that your income for 2024 was overstated during the process. The adjustment reduced your net profit for 2024 by $25,000. We recommend that your S Corp and personal filings be amended to reflect this change. An invoice will be sent over with details. So it's a bittersweet victory. Now I have to pay another $1,500 to get my 2024 returns amended and refiled with the government. We should have had a $5,000 or $6,000 tax refund, but instead I will now have paid over $5,100 in tax bills just to get back the $5,000 that was incorrectly taken from me in the first place. My entire refund is essentially wiped out by the cost of fixing professional incompetence. So this is why we built FBA Plus Academy differently. We don't just want you to sell, we want you to keep your money. Our program includes a massive chapter on everything with e-commerce taxes, accrual versus cash accounting, and why it matters for your tax bill, how to do a year-end inventory evaluation, different softwares that you can use, how to set up QuickBooks online, and automations that actually work, when it's time to transition your LLC to an S corporation, when it makes sense to save you extra money on taxes, and a whole lot more. But the most valuable part is our members get direct access to the same e-commerce CPAs that I am now using. These are people who charge less than half of what my former CPAs were charging me, and they actually know Amazon taxes. So don't wait until you're staring at a $16,000 tax cleanup bill. Treat your business like a business from day one. Get your foundation right. Learn more at FBAPlusAcademy.com, and let's make sure your hard-earned profit stays in your pocket, not the government's.